As you can see, I'm recording Springfield Cast hashtag 10, aka the Cast number 1. Let's start with a song sung by Commander Darren Spider and his cousin, Larton Crepsley Spider. Come on, Darren, come over here. Okay. Come on, Larton. Oh. Stu.
Fjord.
Poochie.
I must return to my
Dora. Doris, what's in pie?
Data.
room.
Moleman.
Divantashishinvir.
Todd.
One of many of one.
Kashmir.
Not from the medievals.
Raheem.
Churchgoer.
It's the cast special number 1.
Leopold.
All right. Leopold.
John.
Good save. All right, thanks, Spiders. Off you go. Good.
Bye.
Go. Huinot. Birembrera Amisa Il Kaya. We are the antiquarians, Lawrence, M. Nightingale, and Flimsy Rosewater. Where is our father? We are lickers of dusty tomes in the bowels of disused stadium of Springfield Park and down tunnels to hazards of Lee, employed to put Simpsons files back in spotty archive, haphazardly document lives of Springfield backwater, haunted eternally by an outside which circles us, but we can never fully acknowledge.
Thanks to our cousins, MIA, over at the MFIMDB for promoting the show. We are the professionals here and safe from all harm.
So, Lawrence, we know that you're allergic to shellfish people, like to avoid discovering personal info and have no blood, disdain for cabbage and Cabbage Patch Kids alike. What else do we need to know or not know about you?
I'm a distant relative of the Bigfoot.
Oh, calling occupants of interplanetary crafts. I am Flimsy Rosewater, ribbon aficionado. With so many ribbons types to choose from, my go-to ribbon this week is print. In the modern world, technology has made it possible to print any word, pattern, or image imaginable on the surface of a ribbon. Printed ribbons appear quite similar to jacquard, but typically only have one pattern side and is a less expensive alternative to luxe jacquard. Lawrence, please tell me you check the salt circle every quarter of an hour.
The circle remains intact.
Hooray. Over there in the corner, who can you see? Oh, it's Commander Darren Spider.
The whole gang in his dust with his little helmet and his shield and his plumes and his cheek guards. And a spear, still dripping with the bluest of blood. Why are you guarding the salt?
Secret. All right. Thanks, Darren. Whatever. And Baroness Berry the Vale of Catmos, our cat hyperintendent. What do you know of the free schools, multi-academy trusts, faith schools, and counter-extremism?
It's been hit and miss the last decade. Meow.
Meow. And over there in the other corner, all the corners are more or less taken at this point, a little magical queer folk in the form of mice. Dressed as medieval forest dwellers, and several tiny cute little pigs, and now they have a king. What?
Wonderful. What is the king? Also a pig.
Can't see, it's too fuzzy over there. We'll have to get the magnifying glass out later. But as expected, bloody Kurt Vonnegut Jr. has been hassling us again. Have you given those letters to Drake yet?
No, they're still in the back of the van.
All right, can you read this one then? Let's get out of the way.
Dear Drake, those who believe in telekinetics, Howard Campbell's life as his identity is in flux. It's been a huge success. The physicians love it. A few hospital emergency departments have been using Scribe since the mid-1990s. The interplay of movement and stillness skating to Antarctica.
I'm writing this letter today. We want to let you know about some changes in the preview function of PROT that were triggered by recent iOS update. Drake, on the spectrum of my awareness and on the subject of burning books, I want to congratulate librarians. Big undreamed of things. The people on the edge see them first.
Sextortion scam. What to do if you get the latest phishing spam demanding Bitcoin? Are you a true blue champion of these blue synonyms? Cyanide poisoning, insulin hypopurd for certain experiments, rats and mice as solutions of the ionized salts. Rats and mice as solutions of the ionized salts is 0.5 to 1. Poisoning was particularly disgusting news from Drake. We are not clapping each other.
I've raised 9 children all my own. 1 is a farmhand, 3 are sanitary agents. Replace dirty fossil fuel cold turkey would mean everything or nothing of chess. 856 981 69. Shot while visiting the library system goes down. Love, Curtis.
Wow. More and more disjointed every time.
It's almost as if his initial letter, which was very angry, has given way to some kind of psychosis. But please, you know, Drake lived with us for 3 months. Can you just get him? He's living now with Brolin, Hartnett, Holloway and John Misty. Please, please, Flimsy, give those letters to Drake.
I will. I believe you're Flimsy.
Whatever. So tonight, give the good people a bit of an idea. Now they've endured that. Give the people a good idea of what the episode might be about.
It's a mixing bowl of an episode that I'm going to call the Cast Review. We're going to go back, because every Cast we've done, I think we've said we could do a Cast 2 about this person. So I've picked some of the stuff that didn't make it into the original Casts to have a little bit of a look over again and see how we get on. See if we still feel the same as we did all that time ago. You know, I can't remember what my opinions were.
Me neither.
Probably not changed though.
Probably not changed. Raheem, we definitely did not say we could do another one about. We've now scraped beyond the bottom of the barrel.
Yes. I believe we did say we were going to do a second Raheem one.
Entirely tapped out content.
Precisely. But yeah, it's a good way to catch up with the 9. Apparently the 9 most important characters to us outside of Maud Flanders.
I'm going to throw the name at you, and I'll throw you all 9 names, and you tell me what connects all or some or most of them. Disco Stu, Poochie, Doris, Lunch Lady Doris, Database, Hans Moleman, Todd, Princess Kashmir, Sideshow Raheem, and Superintendent Chalmers' assistant Leopold. What connects some or all of those people?
The biggest connection is the school, I think, for the most part. Like, most of those people are school/children, because then you can throw Poochie in there as well. The only ones excluded from that really are Stu and Moleman and Raheem. But even Raheem's on the Krusty show. But I think the goal was to, except for Moleman, the goal was to pick characters less seen than Maud, maybe. Except for Stu as well, or like around the same sort of level. But there's still some very big characters to look at. There's a full list of people who I would enjoy to look at. It's just unusual that these were the first 9.
Great choices. I'm going to say their name. You tell me what letter they are, or what lister. Stu.
Yeah. C.
If you want to justify it, you can. If not, we move on.
I have no need to.
Poochie.
E.
Dora/Doris.
C.
Database.
D.
Moleman.
I'm going to put Moleman as a low B or a high C.
Agreed. Todd.
A+. He is everywhere. And we are all Todd. E. E or F. No, I'm going to go F.
Sideshow Raheem.
Also F.
He's way down there. Nobody I spoke to knew who he was.
Really?
Yeah. Most of those people didn't know what The Simpsons was either. So give them a bit of a break.
I uploaded it 2 weeks ago and it has 1 view, and that was me.
Leopold.
F as well.
Let me have a look how many views it has on mine. 5 views.
Wonderful.
Very good.
Popular.
So that's a full 6 between the 2 of us.
Only one of them. Oh.
I watched it as well.
The cast will have its days. It is strange to me that Maud, if you put all these characters on paper and ask people to pick their favourites out of them, I think we'd see a lot of Poochies getting picked, probably a lot of Disco Stu. I don't think Maud would get picked that often, but she is wildly successful in comparison to this.
She is indeed, but we're digging deep to Maud. So, content, let's get into it, because there's a heck of a lot, especially those bongos. Clip 1.
Yeah.
Season 23, episode 16, How I Wet Your Mother. Bird sweet in the early morning light, or is it twilight? Frank is talking to Marge in the street about the movie Inception. So we can go inside Homer's sleeping mind and find out why he's wetting the bed. Yes, Marge said, "Ah, yes." Frink says, "I am just used it to cure another Springfield of his particular obsession." Cue Disco Stu in slacks and polo shirt, still wearing his sunglasses and his afro. And he says, "Normal Stu likes normal things," but he still does it in his Disco Stu voice. Marge's eyes light up.
It's a bit unfair that I've included this because I've included it just to criticise it, as opposed to some other Stu scenes. The only other Stu scenes I was going to include were the one where he snorts the sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And the one where he's really old and he's like something else Stu, but I can't remember what he is.
A shrew.
Yes, that is also a good one. Marge delivering nothing but cold, hard exposition. In this, like, it's almost as if she said that line so you would know what was going on in this clip.
I was puzzled by the bedwetting thing, to be honest.
It's very, very lazy writing. Like, this seems like this is the first line back after the commercials. You know, they do that thing to try and catch you up really quick.
Oh, yeah.
Seems
Worked
like
for
that.
Me.
I don't think they've done this on purpose either. Well, they could have gone either way with this, where Disco Stu just hasn't changed at all here. And I don't know if that's supposed to be the joke, but they could have.
I don't think so.
They could have gone the opposite way with it and made him just look completely different, like a shaved head and like a, completely, like the outfit's slightly different, but it's not wildly different. He's still wearing sunglasses and he's still got an afro. So they could have pushed this to make Frink look more successful, because it does in fact work. And our cousins will one day see this dream.
Really?
Bit of it.
So,
but Stu isn't in it.
If I give them the credit, I don't want to give them that much credit that they actually made him like semi-successful to make a joke or to build some suspense. I think it's just lazy.
Yes, normal Stu likes normal things is a good line, but he just looked like Disco Stu. I'm going to include all of the, for every character I've written down a child fact, which is a fact that I remember from childhood about this character.
Very good.
And the Disco Stu fact, I think I've mentioned probably all of these before in the wildly popular cast that they've been in.
Good. So this is very much like Marge's catch-up.
Yes, it is. Disco Stu used to be, I had a trio of favourites, and it was Disco Stu, comic book guy, and Frink. Outside of the obvious one. So it's nice that Frink's also in this scene. But I did notice the three of them are kind of clubbed together in the same way that you see Maud and Edna in the same background shots a lot and all that. Those three are sort of interchangeable weirdos, aren't they?
Certainly are. Great characters.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I
initially thought they would have been the first three cast.
Yeah, we haven't touched Frink or CBG, but
yeah,
a lot of time. Yeah,
yeah.
So is that it? Lazy
really
casting.
Yeah, there's nothing else. It doesn't really tell us anything new about Disco Stu that we didn't already know.
Tells us nothing about
Disco
Stu.
Goes immediately back to being Disco Stu after this one clip.
Excellent. Clip 2. Poochie Bongo. So we talked about this when we did the Poochie cast. This is kind of in the from the bongos, where I guess they are suggesting what we can do with Poochie should he be successful or brought back. So this is a bongo. You may or may not be able to see it on the screen right now. A memo from the desk of Barbara Hannigan, studio manager, Roger Myers Jr. production. To Roger Myers Jr.'s. These old presentation storyboards were recently discovered in the broom closet, studio archives. I guess they were drawn up with the expectation that Poochie would get his own spin-off cartoon series. We should have known better, her boss. Do we toss them out, or do you think they're worth anything on the collector's market? And there are indeed 6 wonderful suggestions, or is it just
I would like to initially point out that I've just realised that I didn't read the name Barbara. What was it? Barbara Hannigan.
Yeah.
Is that a loose Hanna-Barbera reference? Or do you think it's just
certainly right? It's very. If it is, I'll give them credit for that.
There's some not bad stuff in this Poochie bongo.
No, actually, it's pretty. It's pretty cool. It's as good as any other Poochie content. So the first picture is an ultra turbo mega Poochie 5000 and his X Team Supreme. Poochie's kicking tail and taking dog tags in this all-new, in-your-face animated series that's chock full of the kind of white-knuckle action that you, the new breed of viewer, request, nay, demand. We see Poochie on a mound with a city burning and a mushroom cloud in the background. There appear to be monsters flying in the sky. He has a huge gun, which he's pointing towards the sky, and it's smoking, so he's clearly just shot it. There are bones all around, and the caption says, America's favorite cartoon canine is cut up, is trapped in a post-apocalyptic future world he never made, but Poochie is not alone.
Pause you there for those first two panels. Just brief notes. It's interesting that they note that it's an animated series. I assumed even within the Simpsons world, I thought Itchy and Scratchy was supposed to be an animated show anyway. So it's fun that they are making the point that this won't be a live dog in this post-apocalypse.
Which is disappointing, to be honest. Opportunity missed.
And I did choose this because it's the same lazy comedy our cousins have also taken on board for the post-apocalypse stories, and it's not too dissimilar. And favorite canine cut-up. What does that mean? What's a cut-up?
I don't know what a cut-up is. Like, isn't a cut-up a comedian?
I thought it meant like a cut-out at first, like a cardboard, because he's 2D, but I don't think that's correct. But I will let you continue.
A cut-up, a person who is fond of making jokes or playing the fool.
Nice. I had a person who is very distressed or rutted and uneven after the passage of heavy vehicles and animals.
Yes, those are the definitions. I chose the one that was most likely to be applicable in this context, but all are good. So we move on to discovering a time machine in the ruins of a scientific research lab. He assembles the greatest pop cultural personalities of all time to become Extreme Team Supreme. So we have Poochie. He's got a metal arm predating the Winter Soldier, or at least the cinema version of it. A kind of robot eye. He's still wearing his jean jacket. And his time machine brings back a very weird version of Mr. T, maybe, and a cowboy.
Yeah, I was trying to pick, because it says pop cultural personalities, and it's two very generic looking.
Yeah, it could be anyone at all, right?
Yeah, it's not, just throw Prince and Jackson in there, just throw two people who it's blatantly obvious when they're like Prince and Bowie. Where you
Marilyn Monroe would have been the obvious one as well. Yeah, in the white dress.
But here we are with Mr. T and a cowboy.
Everybody's doesn't even look like Mr. T.
It doesn't at all. It looks like Officer Lou, but really big.
It does indeed. So we go into the next one where the bad guys are introduced, and this is where our cousins could learn a thing or two. I'm sure they will. Meanwhile, the Verminator, a mutated flea that rules the irradiated wasteland, creates his own squad of evil underlings, each a major menace in its own right to enforce his control. And so we have this wonky-eyed giant beetle with some kind of Sesame Street looking bad guys around him. Pretty splendid, actually.
Sorry, what?
Pretty splendid, actually. Well, they've actually put a good amount of effort into fleshing out this pitch.
They reminded me of the claymation thing, Trapdoor.
Yeah, it does. That's great.
And yeah, I think our cousins are going to take some hints. I like that the Verminator is wearing a little crown. If anything, if they'd been hardcore Simpsons fans, they would have. Poochie's sidekick in this would have been Raheem, because he's in the same sort of vein of one-off crusty characters who deserve a spin-off.
I agree. Chance missed, but now we know that Raheem is possibly Salmon Pink Beard Guy's dad, or vice versa. It's only a matter of time before he appears in the post-apocalypse for real. So then we show the picture of them showing down. So we got the Lone Ranger type guy, the Mr. T type guy, and Poochie with his metal arm. And his fist clenched up against the Verminator and co. And he says, tune in each week as Poochie and his power pals face off against the Verminator and his evil forces as they battle for the fate of the future.
Beautiful, with an erupting volcano in the background as well.
Exactly. Chosen a very unsafe place to have a fist fight. But
considering they have guns as well throughout this, these little panels, they now are doing a fist fight.
Well, the guns come back in the next panel because now we've got a Poochie 5000, what are they called? Action figure.
Yes.
Poochie 5000 action figure and Poochie trading cards, and Poochie himself is in a tank with a skull and crossbones on it, an armored car with guns and bombs and rockets attached to it, and a wonky-eyed Verminator is stood on top of it in a very dangerous position, and a very goofy-looking, happy Poochie sticking his head out of the top, also somewhat ill-advised. If you get an armored car, stay inside. That's my rule. And here's a happy note to all you network executives. The cost of producing this, it's good that they put this into the pitch. The cost of producing this exciting new Poochie cartoon series is completely covered by the, get this, advertising budget for our new line of Ultra Turbo Mega Poochie and his Extreme Team Supreme action figures, accessory and vehicles.
Beautiful. What's interesting about this is this comic's got to be from roughly the year 2000, 2001, and they have only just now in 2021 released a Poochie action figure. And
well ahead of the
like
time.
60 quid or something.
Really?
But I do want it. I would like it.
Have they now? They've now launched a new kind of series of Simpsons figures. Then has that happened?
Vaguely, yeah. Whereas they used to do like you'd get a wave of like 8 characters. It now seems like they're doing 5, and they're also backtracking. So the only new. It's a weird choice. They've got like Poochie and then the Itchy and Scratchy robots from Itchy and Scratchy Land, and then like a Homer and a Moe, I think. So our cousins are now closer than ever to an actual potential Mortal Anders figure, because surprisingly the demand is quite high, considering she was basically the only recurring character from the old show that was never available to buy.
Yeah, they'll do the Ghost one first, right?
That would be cool. Either way, would be great.
Either way, Ian, if you're out there in the bushes, you're listening, make it so. Precisely.
I have quite a lot to say about Poochie now, if you would like me to start it.
I would like you to, yes.
I do. I like that he's wearing the cyber eye is just a bit of a trope, isn't it? But it reminded me of Evil Morty.
Yes.
I like that he's got stubble, even though he's a dog, which doesn't make sense at all.
It's an action hero trope, isn't it?
Yes. But again, it's good. I like the nonsense logic like that. Like Poochie isn't considered to be a dog at all, even though his name is Poochie. Here he is just a generic action man. This wasn't the only. I chose this one because it was similar to the post-apocalypse, but I am now going to read you the list of. There was like 3 pages like this, so there was 2 other Poochie stories like this layout, and then there was a 4th page with just like titles and a little tagline for what the show could be. So I'm going to read you this list now. The first one was Poochie and the Puppy Dogs on Breakdance Island. And, Poochie arrives on Breakdance Island and it's full of turtles. The witch doctor turtle, who is named Snapper, vows to get rid of Poochie and the puppy dogs, who are all just beautiful bikini-clad women. And then Snapper is weakly overcome by the power of music and funky hip-hop. And then basically all 3 of these, like the 6-panel comics, end with a panel saying how you can make merchandise from it. So the last panel is similar to that, like just like a toy of Poochie and the turtles. Then the next one is called Poochie Babies, and it's just a loose, vague Muppet Babies rip-off with Poochie and Itchy and Scratchy and Miss Piggy, I think. So they were the 2 like 6-panel ones, and then these were the ones that were just like a title and a suggestion. But keep on pooching. It's a flashback to the future where our mutt gets mellow to the extreme. Poochie Boochies. How about a streetwise neo-realistic approach? Clerk frickin' tastic, and then just a picture of 2 Poochies dressed as Jane Silent Bob. Astro Poochie, one of our animators overseas suggested this idea, and it's just Astro Bob. One Punch Poochie, our mutt makes merry mutant madness in a mighty marvelous manner. So there's the direct Marvel reference.
Did you just call it One Punch Poochie?
One Punch Poochie.
Because that predates One Punch Man by a good number of years.
Why, when's he from?
And now he's quite recent, isn't he?
Never heard of him.
One Punch Man is a Japanese anime about a character. It's a parody of anime, and the guy basically can destroy anybody with a single punch. And it's
like the British guy with the glove in Twin Peaks.
Yes, like that. But
he was very much a one punch Poochie.
He needed more than 1 punch to finish Bob, though, didn't he? Spoiler.
Sorry, that's Bob though. It's a different kettle of fish.
One Punch Man first came out in 2009.
Yeah, this is like
Ish.
2000 or something.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The One Punch Man. There's animes on Netflix now. You can check.
Nice. But yeah, that's the Marvel parody, and they just threw the word Marvel into it to make sure you definitely got that. My miserable little Poochie, and it's just a cute drawing of Poochie, and it says chicks really dig sensitivity, and then the Poochie is saying I love ooh this much, and then two more, the Smoochies. And it's just a picture of Poochie dressed as a Smurf. How about a village of these little guys? Smoocherific. And then the last one is Pooch Think, which is the thing I remembered from, do you remember us talking about it in the Poochie cast when you found the rat think thing?
Oh, yeah.
And I said it felt familiar. The picture is in here of called Pooch Think. And it just says, actually, this one might be a bit too extreme even for Poochie.
Those ideas are absolutely fantastic. The Bongo have outdone themselves with this particular Poochie stretch. So well done, Bongo.
This is by far the best Bongo content we've looked at so far, I would say. And it's nice that Poochie gets some, like, I'm surprised there isn't way more Poochie stuff, especially in the comics where they just hit you over the head with things from the show that people like. Like, it's almost surprising to me that Poochie didn't become the thing he was parodying in the first place, which was bringing in a new character. I'm surprised Poochie didn't just join the family permanently in the comics.
Along with Rod.
Yes. Or Roy. Rod lives next door.
Clip 3? Or you still got more Poochie to delve into?
No, that was it. That was all the Poochie stuff, but it's fun to see him take centre stage. This was probably more prominent than any of the stuff we looked at in the Poochie cast.
Yeah, that was great. We could have spent an entire episode on that and wondering what those shows might have entailed and which fun spin-off of a spin-off characters we might have encountered. But still, Clip 3, Season 6, Episode 6, Treehouse of Horror 5, Nightmare Cafeteria. In Springfield Elementary Cafeteria, classic Dora, aka Doris. Don't bitch to me, bossman, says Doris with steaming big pot to Skinner. Rumbling Skinner. Due to large budget cuts, I'm down to using grade F meat, ingredients, circus animals, some filler. Skinner mysteriously says, wouldn't it be wonderful if there was some sort of common solution to both of our problems? Dora deadpans. That would be great. She nonchalantly deadpans as she heads into camera. Wipe! Cut to Lisa, Bart, Milhouse outside detention room, and a bloodthirsty and blood-soaked Dora/Doris with whisk beaters spinning comes for them. They all have hunger lusts. Skinner, Hoover, and Crabapple. As the kids back into spinning blades of something, the teachers are salivating. Bart and Lisa fall. Cut. Where's Milhouse, I ask?
Yeah, I chopped up. This is like 3 clips, to be honest. I just chopped it up to get the best bits. Even though this is not canon, I wanted to include this because this is probably the most prominent or iconic Doris appearance. And it is genuinely my child's fact for this. My child's fact for Poochie was I don't remember Poochie from childhood. My Doris child fact is this used to genuinely terrify me as a kid. She looks like really intimidating, really scary from the kids, like because they do a lot of angle stuff as well, don't they? So it's like looking up towards her and she's making that weird sort of throat noise and like just covered in children's blood. It's very, very. This is definitely one of the darker Trace of Horror segments.
It's pretty grim. So they cook up all the kids, right, and start eating them all.
Yeah, and then they just sort of get addicted to it. So it gets to the point where there's pretty much only Bart, Lisa. I think the last 4 are Bart, Lisa, Milhouse, and Wendell. And then Wendell drops his pencil, so they send him to his death. And then Bart, Lisa, and Milhouse make a run for it. Milhouse just falls off the edge of that thing just before Bart and Lisa do. It's fun to see, like, even though it's not canon. I can imagine some of the kids being scared of her like this. So this is sort of why this has come up in Bart's, because this is all like Bart's nightmare. I can see him like actually fearing her because of her sort of attitude and her like stature. And the woman who does the voice was just sort of like a producer or something. We talked about this last time.
Yeah.
Just liked the voice. So I think a lot of the deadpan lines are because she's just not a voice actress, but it works well for the character of Doris. The more deadpan, the better.
I think that's her kind of style as well, isn't it? That kind of New York sassy attitude that you might find very much from B. Arthur.
Yes, or Joey's agent from Friends.
Exactly. Might even be the same woman, is it?
No.
No.
I think we looked into this woman, and she's called Doris. The unrelated to Doris, but this is, as far as I know, this is the only Simpsons segment that Homer is not in at all.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if they changed that like later on, but definitely in the early stuff, like he's not in this entire segment, and that's the only time he's not.
It's kind of weird that he's not in this, but we've talked about that a lot before, about how they kind of really just stuck with that core group and they didn't really stray too far from it. So, you know, I wonder when the first clip was that didn't have any of them in, or if that's existed, one that doesn't have any of the 5 Simpsons. And other than that weird Robert Altman 20-odd short stories about Springfield, there can't be too many scenes or extended pieces that don't have one of the 5 sums in them.
At the most, you might get some in like the Mo or the Ned or the Krusty episodes. They might interact with like other characters for a while, but they don't stray too far. They don't stray down past the B list. Which is why you don't see the Holy Rollers planning things. You just see them doing them around the Simpson family. And same too, in this context, Doris and Skinner have obviously conjectured some plan to kill and eat the kids, but it basically cuts from her saying that would be great to Jimbo cleaning the inside of a hot pan. Like, yeah, you just hear like the voices behind the door, and you just keep saying like, I can't really see if you put the lid on, etc. There's a lot of stuff you don't see because the Simpsons aren't there. But basically, this is all set at the school, and they go home and tell Marge what's happening and go back to the school. So that's why Homer's not around.
More fool them, really. Gotta be careful when there's cannibalism about.
Precisely. I will say now I think Doris was my favourite of the 9 to look at for some reason, but out of the 9 of them, that makes sense for me because she is the closest to a Maud type character out of those 9, in that she's a background female who might have died and doesn't really do anything.
True. My favourites were Raheem and Poochie. Both of those. Lots of fun. Moleman as well, as it was very funny. He's a gag-based character, right? So lots of quick, funny silliness for Moleman.
Yeah, and we'll be looking into bigger characters like Moleman in the future, I imagine.
I imagine so. Didn't we already do a Moleman episode?
Yeah, bigger. That's why I said like Moleman.
I like him. Season clip. What's this one? Clip 4. Season 1, episode 12, Krusty gets busted. We see Bob Sideshow wiggling his hips. Fa la la la, says Bob. He seems to be speaking Italian to a crowd of children. Chi va latte vanni, says Bob. A crudely rendered database is chanting along with a crowd of unknown children. I particularly liked this unknown child that looked a bit like a weird mutated Bart. And then this one that looked a little bit like a semi-female Todd.
This looks like Todd with lashes on.
Exactly.
I didn't spot either of those. They're great. Early background Simpsons will probably get a cast at some point. Just looking at the worst designed ones, because there's some really shoddy characters in the early ones.
Well, I've actually taken a leap, and the art for this episode is related to a very similar idea, but still continue.
I've never spotted or known about this before. This didn't even come up when I was getting clips for the database cast. So it's partially conjecture that this, he looks like database, but he might not be, because he's basically here. And then from what we can tell, he doesn't appear again for another 6 years. So he has like a slight redesign. So I don't know why they would bring that character model back after 6 years. So it could just be a coincidence. It's also in Italian because I downloaded it in Italian without realising, and realised that it wasn't relevant what was being said anyway. And I can't get over the fact that isn't Kelsey Grammer.
The Italian version?
Yeah, it just sounds exactly like Sideshow Bob.
Oh, it's very the Italian. Well, I mean, obviously we've seen Maggie Roswell attempt to go and do the French version, but I'm sure Kelsey Grammer did the Italian version.
Very possible.
Very
the voices,
all the voices: Spanish, Italian, Dutch, Afrikaans.
All of them, exactly. The most popular version of The Simpsons. We'll get to that in the Maud Afrikaans stuff. We'll just redo all the episodes, but in a different language. My child fact about databases, and I think I mentioned this last time as well, but they made a database figure and they just got the scale. Out of all the figures, they got the scale the most wrong out of any of the toys. Like he's sort of just kind of, he's around the same, like slightly taller than Itchy. And they're the same sort of level. He's the same sort of height as Todd, whereas he should be like a Rod-sized character.
Exactly. What an error! Ridiculous.
Used to piss me off.
You've made him You've made him Todd size when he should be Rod size.
A rookie mistake. That's the Laurie Goodman mistake.
I hope someone lost an arm for that.
He took the wrong one. Yeah, that was pretty much it. There's not anything to actually say about Database. This is more about the fact that someone who looks like Database appears this early on, which is quite cool.
Which means he's there from day one. He's in Springfield. He's enjoying a lot of the same cultural things, which means that's probably why he gets along so well with the kids in their what's their Civil War fighting troop called?
Oh yeah, Cavalry Kids.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Clip 5. Season 8, Episode 23. Poem by Hans Moleman. He is holding a big purple flower and in classic Moleman outfit on some kind of groovy stage. I think that I shall never see, cheeky face Moleman. My cataracts are blinding me. The flower wilts with a whoop clown sound. Cut to skunk, Troy McClure, I ask, with peg on nose, and they thought I stunk. Steam whistle of sea captain at window with his hat popping off. This is a direct rip of Rona Martin's laughing.
I'm not familiar with that, but I get the I'm aware of what sort of like 60s, 70s variety show they're going for here. This is part of that. There's an episode called the Spin-Off Showcase where Troy McClure just shows you 3 potentials, very, very similar to the Poochie thing that we've just looked at, but an actual episode. There's the spin-off where Skinner and Wiggum move to New Orleans.
Yes.
This episode probably has the least sort of Simpsons in it, especially in the spin-off showcase. They make a joke that Lisa didn't want to do it, so they just recast Lisa as this like a 16-year-old cheerleader.
Isn't it the one where Troy McClure goes, and you might get a visit from their favourite neighbours or something like that, and they visit or whatever.
Show up. And then the middle story is about Mo, and Grandpa's died, and
the love machine.
His soul is trapped in the love machine.
Yeah, I love that one. It's very funny.
Yeah. It's a great episode. So this is just, they just keep cutting to minor or like B, C-list characters who say like a line like this and this. I thought it just kind of perfectly summed up Moleman in that he's sort of being very sweet and optimistic and hopeful. He's reading a nice little poem. He's being very sensitive, but ultimately it's a sad appearance and he's a sad character.
Thankfully for once he doesn't die though.
No, but he does mention having cataracts, so there is something wrong with him even within this parody spin-off. Yeah, he's still suffering.
I was going to take a screenshot because he's got a very cheeky face while he's saying it. It's very good animation. Well done, the Korean consortium over there.
The skunk is actor Tim Conway.
I don't know who that is.
I just remember the line Marge saying, something like, "What's Tim Conway?" And he says, "About 140 pounds." It's a great, just sort of those old, crappy, Christmas cracker jokes. It's a very good episode. It's season 8, so it's slap bang in the golden age. I also noted that it may be the cast of episodes, either that or the 22 short films one that you just mentioned, are the closest to like a cast episode.
And I guess they did both of those episodes relatively early on, and they haven't really gotten back to any of that stuff since, right?
No. And the 22 short films was like a test to see what a Springfield spin-off would kind of be like, I believe.
Yeah, it's a Robert Altman thing. So Robert Altman's films, a couple of them, there's one called Shortcuts that does that. It kind of moves across, and I think does Dazed and Confused, the movie, do that as well? There's a couple that do it.
Yeah, it's quite a popular thing these days. They did that series of like terrible like holiday-based movies with like as many celebrities as possible, like Valentine's Day and Christmas Day and that New Year's Eve, and they would just get like 30 really big celebrities to do like 10-minute scenes, and they were all garbage.
Not the Richard Curtis style, because he throws a lot in his, but they're all part of the story, right? Is this something else?
No, this is just very loosely based. Like, you know, it'll be set in New York. So you'll see like 15 different people in New York having some kind of crisis on New Year's Eve or something. And it'll be like, you know, Ashton Kutcher and Selena Gomez, that kind of.
Then all the crowd cheer when they come on.
I'd like to think so. Freak.
Clip 6. 2003, Mark leaves Walford. Ian, is with blonde woman, They are gathered around Todd on a motorcycle, yellow. Likely lad looks on. Mitchell, Tears in Wendy Richards' glum eyes. Todd puts on helmet. Other characters look on and grimace. It is night in Albert Square. Where is Todd going? Todd puts helmet on. He might be crying, but it is hard to see. Safety first. He puts up his lights and revs bike. Sad Wendy, stern Todd. He rides away as they all cheer. Good riddance, you bastard. He drives into a fire.
I don't believe he drives into a fire. This is a strange one. It's wildly unlikely that Ned and Maud would let Todd ride a motorbike, but he's obviously living somewhere else here, so he's probably doing it secretly.
Flash forward, isn't it? When we know that he goes to live in England at some point.
And gets close to Wendy Richards. He can't be that popular either because they all cheer when he leaves.
Yeah, good riddance.
Yeah, so Todd's obviously made some waves in this mystery stop in the East End of London.
They all gather around him and they just wait until he leaves. And as he's leaving, they all raise their glasses and cheer.
The daughter of Dirty Den is the most sort of upset about this. So maybe he had some kind of connection with her. But other than that, yeah, everybody seems very happy to see the back of Todd.
Where's
and
he
we
going?
don't know if he either went back to Springfield or he died of AIDS. I can't remember.
I don't know if he did. Maybe he's still out there living. Let's hope so.
Exactly.
Clip 7. Kashmir, tapped out dialogue. Kashmir is an oddball. Old Jewish man, Daredevil, Knievel, and Butler. Kashmir's floating head. Women, grab your husbands, and husbands, grab your wallet. Princess Kashmir is back in Springfield. Springfield Googleplex. Sherry and Terry gasp. Are you princess? No, stupid. She's too old to be a princess. She's probably a queen, Kashmir says. Am I old? I've been lying about my age for so long, I don't know what it is anymore. No one wants an aging adult entertainer, and I have started to notice the effects of gravity, like when Marge/Mars was in retrograde motion recently. Maybe I find a scale that uses the 8th sexiest body part, my mind. Actually, I forgot about toes. Joe Pesci is reading this. Princess Patis.
Wonderful. Solid ending. Yeah, we find out some stuff that we're just going to have to assume is canon here about Kashmir, and it's what we sort of vaguely guessed she would be like if she was still in the show, where they would try and move her away from the whole sort of adult dancing game and make her like, the joke is sort of that it's funny that she's smart, so throwing in the gravity line, and then I think the quest you send her on is to like make her better herself, which is a choice phrase. But yeah, that's sort of what she would be doing if the show was on. This is tapped out is where you want to come if you want to see characters who aren't the family talking to each other. You're not going to see Sherry and Terry grilling Kashmir in 22 minutes on a Sunday night.
No, you're not. There's not going to be an extended discussion about whether Kashmir's body parts are holding up under the aging process, not with those random children.
Yeah, and she does mention lying about her age, which is something we sort of said that she's quite, she's got fake names. She doesn't really let people in. So that holds up with this, that she's doing that here. I do find it weird that I agree with the man who does these videos that I don't know why she's considered an oddball.
No, she's not particularly. I don't know who the other characters are other than old Jewish man.
I can't remember who's on there, but the other ones are sort of like, it makes sense. Like Dr. Nick would be considered an oddball. Old Jewish man is an oddball. Kashmir is just sort of someone around town. There's something called, I thought she would have made it into, there's like B-list celebrities, C-list celebrities as a list, and that's where you find like Raheem's in C-list celebrities and stuff. So
really? But that's celebrities within Springfield, right?
Yes.
I see.
So I would have thrown her in there as we've seen her doing stuff. She's been a celebrity when necessary, hasn't she? Like she's on the Celebrity Squares thing, and she does the Well song. So yeah, but it's nice for her that she's finding new hobbies. in the parallel universe. Chapter.
Absolutely. Bettering herself as we all should. Clip 8. Leopold Bongo. It's a big one. It's like 15 pictures. Beef has read this entire comic for us.
I think we should just, you read it and then we'll put it over, put his reading over what you said.
Clip 8. Leopold Bongo.
Ouch, what's the big idea?
Says Bart as he falls onto Milhouse, slamming his face into the pavement.
It's Superintendent Chalmers' henchman, Leopold.
Leopold is storming into the Quickie Mart.
Hello, Mr. Leopold, sir. Are you working as a truant officer today? Yeah, but I'm just here for a Clamato juice.
Leopold says to Apu, Indian man Apu.
Oh, good. May I also inform you about the 2 school-age rapscallions hiding outside?
No need for that, is there, Apu?
Oh, that's pretty rude and mean.
Leopold is throwing his fists up in the air, chasing after Bart and Milhouse, and he screams,
Come back here, you little maggots. You can try to run and you can try to hide, but your butts are mine.
So Bart grabs Milhouse and he yanks him into a vintage clothes shop.
Yank.
I can see some shenanigans coming, some lazy writing shenanigans just around the corner. As a very angry Leopold is steaming with rage. And he's looking the other way with all those scars on his cheek. Now he's got some scars on his forehead as well, as 2 little hippies almost the same size as Bart and Milhouse emerge from the shop, to which Leopold says,
Excuse me, have you seen the 2 worthless little punks running around here? Ain't no kids round here, man.
Says hippie Bart. He has a hippie mustache, and they're Sonny and Cher, right?
Yeah, they are indeed.
They are Sonny and Cher. I got you, babe.
No, we didn't see Bart and Milhouse.
And Leopold turned around and said,
Okay, thanks. Quiet, you numbskull.
As Sonny Bono Bart elbows Cher Milhouse in the face, by the looks of it.
I'll pause you there.
Okay.
The last Leopold though, where he's turned around with his mouth on his hand, is great. It's a very weird angle that you very rarely see on any character.
3/4 back of the head, Leopold.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of that. He's got a very Homer-shaped head, which I don't think we picked up on. He's very, very aggressive here. They've turned it up to like 2000. I get that he's doing his job, but he seems to, considering we saw him doing all that cheerleading stuff, he seems to really viscerally hate Bart and Milhouse. And there was no need for Apu to get involved either.
None whatsoever. It was almost as if he was there simply to push the story along very quickly.
Yes. And the Leopold in the panel where Bart pulls Milhouse into the shop is very good.
Yeah, very angry. He's pensive. He's pent up. So apparently he knows who Bart and Milhouse are. This ain't his first rodeo. So he turns as they run into an alleyway with Milhouse shouting,
Bart, he's gaining and I've got a run in my stocking.
Bart says,
We just need a big distraction, something like...
But while that's happening, Leopold is saying,
I knew you were too attractive to be sure.
Is this the reveal?
That's a very troubling line as well, isn't it?
It's troubling in many ways, the fact that the Bongo people needed to single out that Cher was not as attractive as Milhouse dressed up as a woman, and also that Leopold somehow found. He doesn't necessarily say that he finds him attractive, only that he's more attractive than Cher. So as long as Leopold finds Cher absolutely reprehensible, then we're still okay. It's
still a situation where if he was faced with Cher and a 10-year-old boy dressed as Cher, he's saying he knows who would pick.
Let's not go any further down that line of thinking. So just then, as the 2 elephants come past the end of the road, and Sonny Bono Bart says,
The parade.
Somehow Leopold is now on top of the elephant. Why, I'm not sure. But anyway, he's now on top of an elephant. Milhouse and Bart are hanging onto the bottom of the elephant. I think we've missed some panels, maybe. And Leopold is shouting,
You worms are about to be put on.
And then the first Sonny and Cher pun of the evening, as Abe, in his little car, there's a Dead Kennedys album, a Frankenchrist, where these guys who drive around in these little cars with these fezzes on are on the cover of that album, and so that's a thing I don't know exactly what it is, but anyway, so Abe is in that little car and he falls and Millhouse sure sounds.
I got you, Abe.
I didn't need to even leave. That's not relevant to Leopold. All right, it's just relevant to the cast, to the mod cast. So I'd left it in. Very, very cheap, lazy joke. It's like they shoehorned Grandpa into this to get that one line in.
It's almost as if they did just that very thing. And it's also the only pun they can make because it's the only thing that most people know about Sonny and Cher.
The most definitely the easiest way to go.
Yeah.
You're toast. Your shenanigans end here.
Is that the second use of the word shenanigans in this? Oh no, rapscallion was the earlier one. Or was it rascal? Yeah, rapscallion. Very good. Well done, Apu. And Leopold comes in with
Shenanigans? No way, Jose. You got nothing on us.
that would be a good line if they had any more Sonny and Cher puns, but they don't. So Leopold's hands are kind of like there's the stink lines coming off them and everything, and it looks like he's really going to go for it and cause some trouble. And then the scariest image. Did we look at this one last time? I think we did in the Leopold art. The scariest image of Leopold, possibly of any Simpsons character ever. He's just orange faced, covered in blood fields, and he shouts
Nothing?
with a huge, horrible grin on his face.
It looks like he's going to explode from rage. He's that angry.
It does indeed.
A great job for Bongo, especially. That's a fantastic drawing.
That is an image you could definitely put up on your wall. If I had that on my wall, that would be great.
Exactly.
And so we're in the home straight here. So Leopold is frustrated, to say the least, when fuzzy-haired Bart shouts,
Well, Millhouse, I think we've helped my grandpa enough. Being the Masons' official Posies Parade Sonny and Cher impersonators has been an honour we won't soon forget. Huh?
says Millhouse in classic comic book style.
Nice dress, Millhouse.
Says Mrs. Krabappel, as Leopold seems to have just struck Seymour Skinner in the back of that picture. Skinner's head is flying to the side, but it happened off camera. And Sonny and Cher are sparkling, as they have been through this entire episode. We got a little chubby Martin Prince over there, and a tiny, what's this kid called?
Lewis.
A tiny Lewis.
Thanks, Mrs. Crabapple. I can't believe we made it.
Millhouse Cher does a high five with Sonny Bono Bart.
Just another victory for the boy, the myth, the legend they call
Skinner.
Bart Simpson. Leopold tells me he spotted you two at the Quickie Mart, which is not on the parade route. You're busted.
We get another. Actually, that picture is pretty cool. That Sonny and Cher high five. And Leopold's last appearance of the day, he's raging out once again. Cut to a final image of a now de-wigged Bart and Millhouse still sparkling on the buzz.
Oh man, we've got a whole month in detention. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm pretty used to it, but it's going to be rough on you. Don't be sorry, I've never had so much fun,
says Millhouse.
What a sweet ending that Bart is concerned for the welfare of Millhouse in detention.
Leopold says,
I need to run off, I've got a pub lunch booked at 1 o'clock.
That wrapped up very beautifully, sentimentally. Leopold seems to like little like worms or like that kind of creature. All those like legless bugs.
invertebrates.
He likes to refer to the children as gross, legless bugs. I don't know if he is slapping Skinner across the face, but it does definitely look like it. I also don't know what he's doing in the panel before that one where he's slapping Skinner.
That's extreme frustration.
But it also looks like he's clutching his breasts.
His tender breasts.
His face as well. Leopold's a great character to draw. He doesn't work necessarily in animation because of how detailed he is, but he, again, same as Poochie, I'm surprised Leopold didn't make more Bongo appearances. There is a good Doris one as well that I almost included, but I thought we didn't need 3 full Bongo stories.
No, I'm a big fan of the Bongo cast, though they are consistently our least viewed episodes. We don't... that's not saying too much, if you know our numbers. And finally, clip 9, Raheem Bongo. So this is the one where we really dug deep for Raheem. And in the end, we This is the one we didn't involve last time because we said basically he's just in the very background and we're not even sure if it's actually Raheem. So forgive me if I am wrong, but I think we're looking up here in the very top right-hand corner and all you see is a Sideshow Raheem figure. Guessing it's an action figure. He's wearing his regular clothes and we just see the word side.
Yeah, this, when I was looking for stuff for the Raheem cast on the Simpsons wiki page for him, it says that he was in this bongo, in this like specific comic strip. So I read the entire comic strip looking for him and he's literally in the top corner of the first page. So
And
after
in the
reading
very
the
top
entire
corner.
thing, yeah, it took me like, I went back to this picture because I knew that it was a figure of Raheem. That's all I knew from the wiki, that it wasn't actually Raheem appearing. So I went back to that first page and thought, well, he must be on here somewhere. And then I spotted him directly, basically behind the title of the comic as well.
Yes, the tiny picture of Sideshow Raheem is covered by the letter L. But all we can say is that at least in the Krusty verse, at least in the Simpsons Bongo verse, Sideshow Raheem is popular enough to warrant his own action figure. Now we can see one of Sideshow Mel, but we don't see any action figures of anyone else, I don't think, do we?
No, we've got certain like generic things over there. That looks like a kind of Krusty doll at the bottom next to Sherry or Terry.
Yeah, I think we see a Krusty doll. I think we see the studio set. We see a Mel figure. And then Sideshow Raheem is the next one along. Obviously, no Bobs, as you would expect. But
yeah, this is an odd choice. Somebody probably had a fondness for Raheem in the way we did, so they just wanted to throw him in there. But how he made the cut out of all the like characters related to Krusty, who would as well, like they could have just filled that space with another generic. Like the thing underneath him is just called Krusty Studio Set. So they could have just filled it with, another generic shelf with nothing on it, but somebody made a conscious choice to put Raheem there.
They clearly were not flush with ideas because they went with a Krusty Easy Bake Oven and some Krusty roller skates.
Yeah.
And a Krusty cigar over here.
I believe so. And there's a competition going on to win, like a supermarket sweep thing, isn't it? And so maybe somebody took home a Raheem.
Maybe someone took home the whole shelf of Raheem and someone right now in Springfield has a full shelf of Raheem figures.
Hopefully it's Raheem, if not Leopold.
I hope so. And so that's it. That wraps up the cast special. What I've done is I have, in the spirit of randomly choosing things, I've picked a bunch of random bad Simpsons art, most of them by that Chris the Simpsons artist, because I really like him. And I'm going to show you them, and you can do a very brief 2-second comment, and then you can decide to speak about one or two of them longer, should you wish. Okay?
I shall do so.
What can you say?
The first one is our cousin's favourite Lady Maud with a giant nose, with like a Mr. Burns nose, a very wide face, dodgy eyes, and her quote is "tickle me."
This is by Chris the Simpsons artist.
Yes, it's great. I've seen this one before. This is what they call it. I can't.
Nod Flanders.
Nod
Flanders is what I came across it as.
Yeah, they just seem to do this when they make it look like a Simpsons character like a thumb and give them tiny eyes and change all the vowels in the name to O's. I don't know why.
There's an Abe and this is another Chris the Simpsons artist one of Radioactive Man. His grandpa saying, I know, is it grandpa or is that?
Yes.
Whatever, Marge, and then the very, very wonky looking Radioactive Man is saying, go and get them.
Another great Burns nose there.
He loves the Burns nose.
This is one of the best ones. Bleeding Gums Murphy. Bleeding Gums Murphy with a very, very thin saxophone. And one of his arms is also just his hand. And he's got eyes popping out through his sunglasses. And his quote is, "I'm dying, you idiot, Lisa's."
Very funny. Oh, then Chris.
Beautiful. They're consistent though. They're Frosty Clown. They're consistent, the Chris Simpson's artist ones, and they do feature details. Like the Maud one had the eyeshadow and the lipstick. And
That's very good. He's not just winging it, and he does a lot of stuff with other
I don't think he's done a Simpsons character for about a decade now, but he still does things frequently that are just very Vic and Bob and weird and great. Krusty Claw, this is another like thumb, but this time it's Krusty. I do enjoy just bad things with this where they change the name.
That's basically the theme. Like they're not necessarily a bad piece of art; they're just stupid. Yeah. It's stupid art. So my home merge board, Lasso, Moggy, the Simpsons. What can you see here?
It's just 5. I don't even know what I'd describe that shape as. Like if you were looking at a chair from the side.
No eyes, no nose.
No, it's like just a line for the mouth. Merge and Moggy are the best. But the name that Lasso and How Mather are the best names.
This is my mental Dario on DeviantArt.
Another Simpsons Chris artist as well. With just the nose and the teeth are the thing that make them
Is this eye really for me? It's this eye that's kind of like slanted down. And it's Ralph Wiggum saying, I am a grape.
I wonder, they do a good this guy does a good thing of like there'll be a loose connection somewhere with that line to something. Like 3 steps back it'll have been related to Ralph somehow.
I can't make that connection. He got a lot more detailed, and these early ones are very crude, right? But he actually got more and more detailed, very much like the Simpsons and stuff. Homer Simpson, this is a variation on the thumb thing. It's a Ned.
Is another not Flanders. That one's pretty cool. I don't know what it is about that one. It's sticking out to me, but I like it the most so far.
Now we're getting into the real ridiculous meme area of Eat Pant, which I'm sure you've come across if you're a Simpsons fan.
Yeah, I've seen this on a cake. Somebody had a cake made with this on it.
What is the origin of Eat Pant?
I think it's just a lazy. It's like the Don't Eat Ham Buddy. Like it's just like the most broken down version of Eat My Shots. Just Eat Pant.
This is Bart r/memes off Reddit, and this reminded me of that really wacky opening. What was the opening call, which was all this abstract, weird kind of stuff that went on for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times now, where it's just they let like a guest animator do the couch gag, and they are sort of like eerie looking. But yeah, I do like things that are just intentionally wrong, like Marge.
Marge, my wife, bring me the boy. Here he is, homie. Oh, son, the Bard. We must destroy him, for he is a creature of darkness. No father. Consume my pants.
Consume my pants is correct.
I don't know why consume my pants and eat pants continues to tickle me. But
I think they're just a slightly lazy variation, aren't they?
No, this is the classic one. You've seen this one?
I have seen this before.
Boy and Mum Samson.
He's just called Boy.
Boy and Mum Samson. They got these big googly eyes.
The kind of thing you'd see in like a Vietnamese market next to some sort of like high pitched mouse
or an exotic fruit.
Yeah, chicken cowboy, chicken lieutenant.
Nice one. Boy and Mum Samson drawception. Yes, and pencil in your mouth, mother. I don't know what's going on. They
do it a couple of times on the show when I always forget if it's Skinner or Ned who shouts, "Yes, eat all of our shirts."
Isn't it Skinner? He's sat in a tree shouting down at Bart. Is that a different one?
That sounds about right. There are 2 actually. There's one I remember him. I think that's when they're driving away from the lemon tree from like the Shelbyville people, and Homer shouts like "Eat my shorts" or something, and Ned shouts out the window, "Yes, eat all of our shirts." But I think Skinner in a tree does say something, either "just eat my shorts" or something of that variety. I don't know why Marge has got a mustache in this picture.
Is she a kind of fish or something? She has no arms.
The Bart looks very Adventure Time.
Yeah, there's the drawception seems to be a gold mine for these kind of things.
Yeah, that's correct. I forgot in the Doris Halloween one we just looked at. You went on a tangent here. When they're walking towards when Bart and Lisa are about to fall off into the meat blender thing, Skinner says something like, I'm going to enjoy eating you, Simpson. I'm going to start off as you've often suggested by eating your shorts.
Nice one. Munch like clothing books. Just how stupid can you get?
It's what we do, or what you do with the Mordcast every week, which is just a variation on Don't Have a Cow Man.
Munch like clothing.
Munch like clothing is one of the better ones. I do like consume my keks. I believe Natalie Balloon Manticore said that the other day.
Nice.
And I said, like, and eat my shorts thing. This is the laziest one. That's not even that funny.
It's not funny at all. It's just about Jordan and Bart Simpson. And this could be an intentionally or unintentionally bad, we don't know. There's a few more left, yeah. I went a bit on a mad one.
I like these. That again, like the loose connection, I'm assuming that he's saying it's the sea captain with, again, one tiny eye and giant teeth and a big nose. And he's saying, I feel sick. And I'm just assuming that's a seasickness. He's the sea captain. So they've gone with I feel sick, which it sounds funny, doesn't it? But there is some kind of loose connection there.
Tiny, tiny little fingers.
He did a good job, this guy, as well, of doing a very big spectrum of Simpsons characters.
Yeah. I don't even know if this is actually Chris Simpson's artist. It says it is, but it's a very different style. And Mark's got a hand coming out of his face and he says, I have got it.
Yeah, they're all very Dick and Bob, aren't they? Especially that one. Just looks like Dick Reeves may have drawn it, or you.
Come here, you nerdwad.
Here.
What's his name, this fella?
Nelson.
Nelson. Long nose. And
they sort of like the eye bags as well.
Sad-eyed. You can tell the early ones versus late ones, right? Because the line's thinner and more detailed than late ones. But the early ones are really, really thick, crudely drawn. Get out of my bar, Mo, and two more.
Like Wiggum's hair is ridiculous.
It's very funny. This is one of the better ones.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the looks later on as well, doesn't it? He's saying, get into my jail or I'll slap you.
Eating a donut and drinking a milkshake with these tiny little handcuffs. The joke is to make some things way too big and make other things way too small, right?
Yeah, very mid-2000s internet-y as well, isn't it? Like salad fingers and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. That creepy kind of twisted kind of stuff. Who is wants a Duff Babies this stuff, man?
Who is wants a Duff Baby?
Look at his arms.
I do like this thing of drawing people's eyes over the sunglasses. A couple of times. And the fact that Duff, where he's written Duff, doesn't fit into the box. It's good.
It's very good. Those are all tricks I've stolen as well in the past. And that's it. I went on a bit of a mad one there, but hey, it's a special. And so, yeah, shall we wrap it up with a song?
Do it.
Birds sweet in the tog like early morn.
Cure another sippig griffed of his pravditular obsession.
Normac stew like Normac ting in Dosco voice.
Cisco DTU.
Poochie bongo.
The puppy dogs.
In spine
frilled. Classy Dora. Don't buff to me, boss man.
Mysteriously, wouldn't the Sopluchen grat cut to Lisa about me house?
They all have a hinger lust. Skinner, Hoover, and Crabau Popple. I've been calling it Brandel.
Krusty gets boosted, hero chanting crudely.
Bib sideshow wiggling hips.
Classic Moleman, Pegger popping off.
They are Getford round Todd on motorcycle yellow, Mitchell.
We tend to softly characters look, read us way, you bastard.
Sad Wendy.
Kermit is oddball.
Kashmir's floating head, women grab your husbands.
Sprig feast, Queen Kashmir I've been.
Sheetra Terry gas, Princess Patice.
Joe Pesci reading this.
I got you, Abe.
Tickle me. The end. That was a bit of a long one, but a good one. Lots of fun to be had. Hooray. So that's 10 Cas in the bag. Who would have thought it? Who would have thought our spin-off would reach double figures?
Who would have thought we've reached double figures in the amount before we've reached double figures in the viewing?
That's a win-win in my book.
Yes. It's looking forward to season 2. This first season of Cascast took us like 19 months or something like that.
Of course. And that's the nature of the beast. But onwards and upwards. Bye.
Goodbye.